Work on Revenge of the Fallen started in 2009, while Prologue and Transformers were in work as well. For day one, EAGC7 envisioned Revenge as the finale to the first phase of Transformers stories. Work on the story began even before the film of the same name was even released. At first, EAGC7 wanted to write an original story inspired by the movie, but as he could not find a definitive story, an early script for the project, made in 2009, started with RC and her sisters arriving to Earth, then meeting up with Longarm, who was later killed by a Decepticon. Then the Autobots learned of the Harvester, and they would have joined up with their old human allies. But it was not a decent story. He decided to adapt the action movie into stop motion, while adding new scenes and characters. The story started immediately with Bumblebee being Sam's guardian, without any apparent reason, which led to the scene in Transformers where the shard fell in Sam's backpack, and led to the creation of Earth Protectors and Tales of the Fallen, to explain some things before working on Revenge. But first, EAGC7 had to wait till Revenge of the Fallen was released. And then it happened. People hated the movie. EAGC7 loved the movie, but the hate was everywhere. So EAGC7, while looking at the complaints, decided to see if he could fix the movie in the stop-motion version. People hated a lot of stuff. He wanted to try and see what people would think if the movie had actually gotten rid of the crude humor and such. Originally, the project was set to release in June 24, 2010, the anniversary of Revenge of the Fallen, but work on Earth Protectors and eventual hiatus led to it being delayed to a December 2012 release. During the delay, EAGC7 kept rewriting the story, removing and adding stuff people hated and or would have loved to see. As such, he removed Devastator, the collage scenes, Alice, the humping dogs, wheelie humping on Michaela's leg, Seven's rear, and the love subplot. He also extended the final battle in Egypt, added new scenes, and gave some more screen time to RC, Soundwave, and the Fallen. Characters like the twins and Leo, despite the complaints, stayed in the story, unchanged from their original counterparts. New characters that never appeared in the movie were added into the story as well. Bomb Shock, replacing Devastator, Stormjet, and many more, including characters from the past stories. At first, EAGC7 wanted Sam's parents out of the story, but he eventually re-added them to the story. Some scenes from ROTF that were recreated by EAGC7 around 2009 through 2010 were added into the stop motion itself, instead of refilming those scenes. During some rewrites around 2011 through 2012, EAGC7 added more Marvel tie-ins to lead into Phase 2. The Symbiote and Iron Man cameo was added to lead into both Iron Man and Spider-Man. The Nick Fury cameo and appearance of S.H.I.E.L.D. was written in 2011, tying up the story with the next installment of the Transformers stop-motion, Transformers: S.H.I.E.L.D. EAGC7 also added some scenes from the novel adaptation into the script. But then, the production problems with Tales of the Fallen led to yet another delay. It was now set for a December 21, 2013 release. During a small rewrite, a Clint Barton cameo was written into the script in 2013. The appearances of the Oscorp Tower and the yet incomplete Stark Tower were also added into the script around 2013. Ironhide was brought back as a promise to the old Ironhide voice actor, so he could reprise the role. However, he never reprised his role, but EAGC7 still brought him back with Barricade 24, yours truly, now voicing him. Mandy Prime 97 from TFW 2005 was cast as RC's new voice, but as of September 2013, she was unable to send her lines due to internet issues. She will be replaced with Skybeat 01, and RC's original voice actress, Lord Starscream Girl, under consideration to replace her. Skybeat 01 got the role as she sent the lines first, but then he decided to keep Lord Starscream Girl as she was finally able to send the lines. Filming started on July 19, 2013, and was wrapped up on December 4, 2013. During filming, EAGC7 got a green screen, thus, EAGC7 was now able to hide his house and add backgrounds to the shots. Post-production officially began on December 6, 2013. EAGC7 also did some reshoots, starting in mid-December, all of them being mainly green screen scenes. During post-production, EAGC7 cut out the scene with the Insecticon, as it was not really needed. We have our arch-villain in Phase 1. His name is Megatronus Prime, aka The Fallen. The Fallen is the key character of Phase 1, and the main Decepticon of this saga. The Fallen's inclusion was decided when EAGC7 decided to make his version of Revenge of the Fallen, even way before he knew what it was all about. In the Transformers mythology, the Fallen is the Judas of the Transformers. He was a member of the 13 original Transformers and betrayed the other 12 after he became the Herald of Unicron. There have been other incarnations of the Fallen and his betrayal all throughout the Transformers mythology. The EAGC7 rendition of the Fallen follows the same story as the movie rendition of the Fallen. Just like the movie incarnation, the Fallen betrayed his brothers when he tried to harvest Earth's sun. Many important plot points of the Fallen for Revenge were scrapped for the second film. EAGC7 also decided to bring back the scrapped idea of Fallen promising Megatron the powers of the Primes. In the novel and the comic adaptations, we see that the Fallen promised Megatron the powers of a Prime, but Optimus revealed that it was a lie, leading Megatron to lead the Fallen on his own. EAGC7 decided to darken the Fallen's plans for Megatron, such as when the Fallen was planning all along to kill him after they destroyed Earth's sun. And also he decided to keep Megatron in the dark of the Fallen's real plans for him, and not let him know the full truth of the Fallen's planned betrayal. In early scripts for Revenge, when Longarm was rebooted, he was to be renamed Shockwave, as an homage to his animated counterpart. But the idea was scrapped when Shockwave was confirmed to appear in the third Transformers movie. In order to establish a link with Phase 1 with the upcoming Marvel stories, EAGC7 wanted to add Iron Man and Earth Protectors and Revenge of the Fallen, which he did, but he wanted to do more with Stark. Like originally, Earth Protectors was going to end with Iron Man flying around Diego Garcia. But EAGC7 felt it didn't make sense as to why Iron Man would go there at that moment and how he would even know the Autobots were there. Then, in Tales of the Fallen, Sam was going to pick up a newspaper with it asking who was Iron Man, and Sam correctly guessing Tony Stark. And in Revenge of the Fallen, Leo would have suggested Iron Man as a possible candidate for the Metal Man that was spotted in Mission City during the battle with Soundwave. But EAGC7 cut those two references, mainly because it was possible that it would not fit with the timeline in the Iron Man stop-motion universe, as the Iron Man stop-motion was very, very, very early in development at this point. So whether or not Iron Man was a widely known hero, or even if the name was made by this point was unknown, and he wanted to avoid running a conflicting timeline. One of the scrapped ideas from ROTF that EAGC7 wanted to include in his version of Revenge of the Fallen was the RC Sisters combination. But unlike in the adaptations, the combiner would not be in the Shanghai battle, but would instead appear for the battle in Egypt. It would have happened in the battle that took place before RC and the others found Sam. But Wave 2 of the Hunt for the Decepticons line was never released in Guatemala. Thus, EAGC7 was not able to get hold of the Elita 1 toy. EAGC7 didn't want to get rid of Elita 1 for Revenge. Thus, his only choice was to wait for Hasbro to release a toy for Transformers Prime RC, which was made, but that RC was not a combiner. Thus, the whole combination scene was dropped, and the scene where they would have combined was rewritten. In the very early drafts of Revenge, that were the ones made before EAGC7 got into the final draft he used for the final product, he originally made the characters of Sam and RC more negative than their early versions. Like RC was going to be a more mean, easily annoyed and irritable character. There was a scene in the early drafts in which he didn't allow Nightbeat to scan a bike mode he saw, because RC wanted it for herself, and got mad at Nightbeat for no reason there. In the final product, RC is simply a character heartbroken who cannot let go of the past. Thus, she is still a likable Autobot, but the fact of losing Cyburn made her upset, and such as in the final version, which is unlike how she was in the early version, when she was an arrogant Autobot. Sam was also arrogant in the early drafts. He was easily way too annoyed with Bumblebee's presence, because he didn't want him near him, and he was going to yell at Optimus when Bumblebee brought him into the graveyard. But at the end, EAGC7 decided to simply keep the same likable personality he had in the movies, and not make him into an arrogant character, and just make him into a teenager who just didn't feel he had to be involved in the Great War. He also thinks that the Autobots can handle everything, which is in the end is proven wrong with the death of Optimus, in which Sam realizes that Autobots can't handle everything. After Optimus Prime's death, there was going to be a more extended conversation between Ratchet and Ironhide about what the next step was now that Optimus was gone. It was supposed to have Ratchet tell Ironhide to lead the Autobots, but Ironhide had doubts, but still accepted. Ironhide's lines were recorded for this scene, but Count Ramsley forgot to record or didn't get the lines for Ratchet for this scene, so instead of asking another actor to do the lines, EAGC7 cut the scene altogether. Originally, the scene with the Insecticon from ROTF was meant to stay in the stop-motion universe. The scene was even filmed, but it was cut, as EAGC7 felt it was not really needed. In the semi-final script for Revenge of the Fallen, EAGC7 wanted the Fallen to die in the same way that he did in the movie. But sometime later in 2012, he decided to give the Fallen a more fitting and brutal death. Thus, he decided to recreate the death of Megatron from Dark of the Moon, but this time it was the Fallen in Megatron's place.